Hey, welcome back to Karen's Papercraft. Thank you very much for watching. Wat leuk dat je weer kijkt. Dankjewel. I thought it would be fun for a change to show you the thank you cards that I send to my customers. So today I'm going to show you the card that I made for people who ordered with me in January. If you want to find out more, come and join me. Blijf gezellig kijken. So, I'll give you a closer look at the card. Oh, your first look at the card, I just realised now, I didn't show it to you before. It's quite a simple card, but I do like it in all its simplicity. And I'll show you all the products that I've used. For the ink, of course, Sweet Sorbet, because that's the colour of the cardstock and the designer series paper. I have here the Stampin' Blend Sweet Sorbet Dark. You're going to need the heart punch pack, het hartjesponspaket for the 2 hearts. You're going to need the heart pearls or any other embellishment, but I do like the heart pearls, and you can colour them, as you can see. I'll show you later. You need the Country Gingham designer series paper. This is a 6x6 paper, by the way. You need a scrap of Sweet Sorbet and a scrap of Basic White for your hearts. You need a piece of Basic White. This is a thick variety, by the way. I have used 2 stamp sets. Warm Welcome for that sweet little heart there, and Biggest Wish, because I do love that font. I think it's really gorgeous. And the Stamparatus. I think that's everything. And I'm going to start by making the hearts. You need 2 which are punched in the scalloped variety, and you punch those in Sweet Sorbet. And then you need 2 with the straight edge, and for that you want the scrap piece of Basic White. I love punches to work with scraps. Oh, there's a heart pearl. Okay, well, the glue was gone. Then I'm going to stamp the hearts onto the white hearts, and I want this tiny, tiny heart, and then a tiny block as well, an A block, and then the Sweet Sorbet ink. And then I start out by making the pattern like this. So I stamp 1 heart towards the bottom and 1 just about in the middle. Then you can go up into those 2 curves of the heart, and then you add 1 there. I was just looking at my example, and then these 2, and you see you have them sort of spaced around the heart, so I'll repeat and speed up for that. I'm going to attach these 2 hearts to the red heart, you don't need tons of glue, and I put some seal in the middle so that when I have placed it onto the heart, and I think that looks good, I just press down in the middle, and then it doesn't slide around anymore. So there you go, in the middle, and then it's stuck, and then you can use liquid glue for the rest. And I'm going to put dimensionals on 1 of the 2 hearts in preparation for attaching it later on. I think I'll put 1 in the middle as well. You don't want it to sag there now, do you? So these 2 are ready. Then I'm going to cut the card base and show you. I have here a piece of A4 cardstock, and I'm going to cut it at, oh, there's my trimmer. I can cut it at 11.5 inches. It's a bit longer than that, but I think 11.5 works better than 16 something. If you work in letter, you can definitely use it at 11 inches, that's no problem. Then you just score it in a different position. See, this is just a tiny bit that I've cut off. So either 11, then if you work in letter, your cut already is 11 inches. I've made mine 11 inches now. I'll close the yarn. And then I'm going to cut it at 4 1/8 of an inch, because that's half of an A4 piece of cardstock. If you work in letter, you can leave it at 4 1/4. That makes no difference for this card. So if you work in a letter, you just cut your cardstock in half lengthwise at 4 1/4. If you use A4 as I do, then it's 4 1/8 or 10.5 centimeters. And then you score this at the halfway mark. If you work in letter, at 5 3/4. Sorry, if you work in letter at 5 1/2. If you work in A4, you score this at 5 3/4, as I said. I'm confusing myself there. Okay, put these two corners on top, and then with my bone folder, this then is ready to be, well, used as the card base. I'll just, well, where shall I put it that it doesn't fall over there? Okay, then you have your piece of designer series paper, which is 6 by 6, 15.2 by 15.2 centimeters. And you're going to cut a strip of 1 1/2 inches, 2 strips actually of 1 1/2 inches. In centimeters, that is 3.8. So 1 1/2, and again 1 1/2, which means that from one sheet of 6 by 6, you could potentially make 2 of these cards, because you have 3 inches left now. If you cut that in half, you could make another card with it, which I will, because I'm going to need more. I was lucky that in January loads of people placed an order with me, so I have lots of thank you cards to send. Yay! Now then, you have your card here, and you're going to adhere these, and I'm going to use my grid paper to do that, because I want these 2 strips to be 1/4 of an inch from the top of the card and 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. And then this is the 1/4 inch, and now I'm sliding it down just a bit, and with a pencil I draw a pencil line. Same thing here, I put it at the 1/4 inch and then slide it up a bit and draw a pencil line. I repeat this at the bottom. Why the pencil lines? Well, excuse me, excuse me. They help me determine where to put the glue. So I'm going to put some seal in the middle for the same reason. Now then, I know that with my glue, if I stay within the pencil lines, it won't ooze out. Then I'm putting my card back onto the grid paper. You can even fold it double if you like, so that you can see the grid paper at either end. And then I can put my card piece on top, flush with that 1/4 inch on the grid line. And here too, I'll turn it over, it's easier for you to see then. So the 1/4 inch there, and then I put my piece of paper on. And you see I did make it slightly longer on purpose, because now I can cut away what I don't need. And in that way it'll be nice and flush with the edge of the card. It's an easy way to attach this. I have found that when I try to cut the pieces of paper to size and try to stick them on, it never looks neat, and I do want my cards to look neat. It's just the way I am. Okay, So far we have the hearts, we have the paper and the strips, and I'm going to stamp the thanks on, and for that I'm going to use my Stamparatus because I want to ink the stamp a couple of times. It's just that to get a really good coverage, dark coverage of the ink, you have to stamp multiple times, and using the Stamparatus ensures that you stamp in exactly the same spot. So I'm putting my card in, magnet on top, then the stamp. No, that's happy. Where's thanks? Ah, there is thanks. And then I'm looking for where I want it on my card. You could put it at an angle as well, but I think I'll have it like this. And you do want it on straight, and you do want to leave enough space there for the hearts. So I think this works fine. And you can pick up the stamp, put the card back in the corner, and then I'll put the stamp case underneath. Then this is level, and ink up my stamp, and then stamp a couple of times. I am going to be making more of these cards, so I leave my stamp on the plate, because then if I put my other cards in this same position in the corner, I don't have to move the stamp all the time. So I can put this one over here as well. Rightio, then I want my hearts and the little heart pearls. Can't find, there they are, couldn't find them. And I'll show you can colour them. They are white and sort of iridescent white, and with your stamping blend you can colour them. And it works best if you do this while they're still on the card, in the packaging I should say. And you see, you can colour these hearts, you can go over it a couple of times, and then you can use them on the card. So I'll leave these to dry for a bit. Okay, one heart goes there, the other one goes on top, and the point there goes over the white a bit. So this one I can put it here, and I'm using Seal Plus now. At an angle, and this one you remove the backing, and I'm looking for my tweezers here. I have no nails to speak of, can't keep nails to speak of. I sometimes see people who have these absolutely gorgeous nails, and probably acrylic in many cases, sorry about that. And I asked the girl at the nail studio if that would be something for me, and she said, well, your nails are so weak I wouldn't advise it. So I decided not to, and I just make sure I take care of them, keep them short, and use some strengthening lacquer, and that seems to work. So that's why I don't have these beautiful nails. I am jealous of people who have them, mind you. Okay, then the three little hearts, you pick them up and then you can put them on to the card. 3 hearts will do, I think. 3 for love. Well, there you are. A pretty thank you card finished. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to check out on the details, all the information is on my blog and you will find the link below. So thank you very much for watching. Dank u wel voor het kijken and see you next time. Bye bye, tot ziens.